I don't give a damn factor. Quite the quote, Jimmy Butler said. Now, for my parents at home, y'all know I do not curse. That was Jimmy Butler's words. Those were not Emmanuel Acho's. With that being said, Joy, the Heat got the dub. They got it done. What is your reaction?
You know, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful because, you know, it's always nice to be considered and welcomed. And, you know, the Heat, we were just lucky to get that little letter in the mail inviting us out to Denver to get the opportunity to play in the NBA Finals. It was so kind of the NBA and Adam Silver. Thank you. It's really special, you know, because they needed that. Sometimes you just need to see new places and experience new things.
That's true.
And it just opens up your horizon. I mean, what can I say? This is what I thought was going to happen. This is what I said was going to happen. We talked about it after game one. Everyone was dragging me. Why are you not worried? You're delusional. Okay, that's fine. Or I saw something different. And that's fine. We all take different things away from the game. To me, in game one, they shot terribly. I don't know any team of any level with as many undrafted players as you wanted to have that would shoot that badly and win a game, particularly against a team like the Nuggets. Yeah. What happened in this game? They certainly didn't shoot as badly as they did in game one. No, the guys that we didn't think were going to contribute throughout the rest of the series showed up again, were them true selves again. Maybe they need to get over the altitude. Maybe they need a little more, you know, Pedialyte. I don't know. But that looked like the Heat to me, a team that went through the Eastern Conference. Well, I know everyone just thinks that this is a sweet thing of the NBA to invite them to the finals. They did actually earn their way there. And I think it was a fun night for the NBA.
It was a fun night. Now, Shady, you watch a lot of basketball. You love basketball. Clearly, Eagles all-time rushing leader. But don't let that take away from your passion for the game. You watch this game closely. Are you giving the Heat a real chance to win the series after getting it done?
Yeah, I truly do. And not just because of the win last night, but I mean, for two series, I won't even count the Knicks series, but the two series I watched when they beat the Bucks, right, and then they came back and they beat the Celtics, I saw, yeah, you would be a fool not to give them a chance to win this series. But then even last night, they did some great adjustments, right? Now, obviously, they shot the ball a lot better, and they had tremendous offensive movement. Have you seen a couple times that the Nuggets were confused with the communication? Oh, should I go with him? Should I go with him? Oh, open three, boom, bang. Should I go with the slasher? Oh, layup. So they did a lot of different things, I think, with the communication part of the movement on offense and gave the Nuggets some trouble. But also, I want to give some credit to the Heat as they did great adjustments. So they started Kevin Love, right? They put now Kevin Love is guarding Aaron Gordon. Now they put Jimmy on Jamal Murray. Yeah. And that was cool because I'm like, damn. Now, if Jokic goes out there and balls out, which he did, he had 41 points. But then the other guys wasn't involved. And you put Jimmy now on Jamal. Jamal didn't start heating up till late in the game. It was too late by then. That was a great adjustment they did, the move they made. I just think that now, like when I watched the matchup, it's like, okay, what are they trying to do? Because if you watched game one, Jokic didn't have a lot of points. But he only had 3 buckets going into the halftime. But he had 11 assists. You see what I'm saying? So he affected that game. Now, if you take him just to score and he's affecting the game, that's cool. We're going to let you dominate because it's hard to stop Jokic. But all the other pieces, we're going to shut them down because we all know this about the Heat. They going to compete their tail off. One thing Joy said, I got to give you credit, and I'm going to take that back. See, one thing about me, I keep it 1,000 every day. Talk to me. And if I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I was wrong. That culture is real. It ain't just tequilas and shots in Miami. They really play, they compete. And you can see it, like, they brought their defense. And they shot the ball well, so it's going to be a matchup.
Slick, before we get to your opinion on things, I know you were watching the tape. You broke down the tape. I think we might have the tape. Based on what Shady said, I think this would be a good time to even show kind of some of the things you saw, if we are ready for it. This would be a good time to show some of the things you saw, Slick, because I still am not yet giving the Heat a real chance to win the series. The reason I'm not yet giving the Heat a real chance to win the series is because kind of what Joyce said, I look at it differently. Okay. They won't shoot as bad as they did in game one. They might not. They shot 33% in game one. For context, Denver shot 29%. But they shot 48% in game two. And I'm asking myself, is that duplicable? Like, can you do that again and again?
Good question.
I have the Nuggets winning in 6. I did think the Heat would win a game. But I'm thinking to myself, can they repeat this format? Yeah. Can Gabe Vincent give you 23 again? If not Gabe, can Caleb Martin do it? If not Caleb, can Max Strus do it? Can Jimmy Butler be the second or third best player on that team and them consistently win basketball games? That's why I am not yet going to jump on the bandwagon. Not yet. I'm not sold just yet.
And Gabe, for another take back, Gabe, he's out of that category of like the role players just trying to be undrafted, trying to make it.
He a dude.
He's a good player. He is a good player. He's a starting point guard in this league.
He a dude. Slick, where are you at on that as we wait to see if the tape is ready? Where are you at on giving the Heat a real chance to win the series?
I still do not give them a real chance. I mean, look, if we want to give them a 1%, 2% chance, there's always a chance, right? Because the Denver Nuggets have not played well at all on this stage. Now, is that because they're not prepared to play on this stage? It's too big for them? Then that's the opening that I would give the Miami Heat. But I understand now. I was shocked that they lost game 2, and actually they still almost sent it to overtime as badly as they played. And I thought, well, how the hell did this happen? And then I realized Mike Malone said, I don't want you guys listening to any social media. I don't want you watching TV because everybody's saying this series is over. You guys rolled in game 1. Miami Heat can't play with us. And then I realized they don't have to watch TV or listen to social media because they played in the game. They know they didn't play well, and they won going away. So where was the motivation to play harder in game 2? They didn't. It was Michael Porter Jr. reverted back to when he first came into the league.
Yes,
he was a
did.
disaster. Contavious Caldwell-Pope was a disaster. You're talking about 2 starters.
Yeah.
The 2 players, and Jokic was good as a scorer. Jamal Murray was okay. But the only guys that were really played well were Christian Brown and Bruce Brown. And so I just look at if they play up to their ability. Look, they didn't come anywhere close to playing up to their ability, and they still nearly sent it to overtime in game 2. I expected them to be a much different team.
Joy, I will acknowledge my bias. And I don't know if I can speak for the bias of Slick as well, though I think I hear it. I won't put words in his mouth. There has to come a point where you and the rest of Heat fans are perturbed at the aspect that we keep saying, well, the Nuggets didn't play well, the Nuggets didn't play well, the Nuggets didn't play well. Did the Nuggets not play well, or are the Heat, in your mind, just...
Forcing it.
Yes. Like, are the Heat just better than the Nuggets? Are they capable of beat? Because I still don't think they will beat the Nuggets, but I'm just wondering, as a Heat fan, how perturbed, disgruntled, are we just seeing it wrong?
I think you're seeing what you want to see. I think you're seeing what's easy to see. And put some respect on the Nuggets. They're a great team. You saw them be great for a long time, like the whole regular season, because they were the #1 seed in the Western Conference. We've seen Jokic be the best player on the planet for the last 3 years, arguably.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're seeing something that doesn't exist. It's just that the Heat are not what you believe them to be. But I keep making the, invite joke because I'm trying to emphasize the Heat won the Eastern Conference. That's why they're in the finals. They really weren't actually invited there. In fact, they almost didn't make it to the postseason at all.
Correct.
They beat the Bucks. They beat the Knicks. They beat the Celtics. That's why they're in the finals. So at some points, just acknowledge that they had to get through those teams to get here. So it's not an accident that they're here. The other part that I would say, and I'm sure Heat fans are very perturbed, the culture thing is real, the coaching thing is real, the underdog thing, all of that, yes. But I thought about it this morning when it comes to the finals, which we know every series is different. Every series is a different story, different adjustments. Some teams are bigger, some teams are faster, so they're better in transition. But the finals is a very specific series to play in. And experience matters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Coming down to 1 or 2 plays, 1 or 2 moments might shift the whole series. The Heat contributors, not the whole roster, but the players that are playing, have played in 265 more playoff games than the Nuggets. The Nuggets players that are playing right now have played in 352 career playoff games. The Heat have played in 617. Jimmy Butler has played in 116 playoff games. Kyle Lowry's played in 127. Kevin Love has played in 80. That's experience. Now, you might say, Kyle Lowry, he's not the most athletic. Kevin Love, he's not the most athletic. It's Grandpa Love now. But experience matters also, having those adjustments. And I'm not even talking about Udonis Haslem, who is there on the bench giving advice, helping with adjustments, leaning in, letting somebody know what to do. He's 148 playoff games he's played in his career. There is some value to having been here before as well.
Shady, let's speak to that, because what was so curious to me, and at home it must have been curious to you, there were roughly 12 seconds left. The clock was dwindling. The Nuggets were down by 3. They had a timeout on the board, but they chose not to use it. Head coach Malone, he chose not to use a timeout. He just wanted Jamal Murray and Jokic to run that two-man game, run the quick P&R game, and make a play on their own. I thought to myself, Shady, if you're a head coach and you have a timeout, this is when you as a coach separate yourself.
Right.
This is when you dial up a play to get an open shot, a more open shot than Jamal Murray going against a great defender, I believe, is Jimmy Butler right there. This is when you as a coach separate yourself. How in the world do you not take a timeout, Mike Malone? Shady, you've played a lot of professional sports, a lot of professional ball. What was your thought?
I didn't like it, right? And I thought that his response, I didn't like his response either. You know, some coaches I know that they like the players to play through things, right? Play through adversity or last second, hey, look, we don't want the defense to get set up. And granted, I mean, he's right, because Miami, they play good defense. But what I did like is, be confident in your guys. You got the MVP. You're a hell of a coach. Mm-hmm. You draw up a play. Everybody's always on the defense. Well, damn, if we do this, what they're going to do? No, don't worry about that. You go out there with your best offensive game plan, your scheme, and you run that. Because I think if you have a time, okay, take a timeout. What do we really want to do here? We need 3. Let's get the best shot. Yep. Obviously, they're going to put their best defender on Jamal Murray, right? And who was Jimmy Buckets. Mm-hmm. He played good defense right there. No, let's try to get a play. So I didn't really like that. And so Joey's point, talking about that, having that leadership and experience. I do believe in that. That does matter. I can see a time like this where you see Kyle Larry pointing out who the defensive assignments. Go here, go here, go here. Or if you take a timeout, let's settle this thing down, right? Think what they're going to do, because every team, if no matter what sport it is, you have scenarios that you practice. 10 seconds on the clock. Hey, what plays you want to run? And I think a time like that, they should have took a timeout, man. They got the best play possible.
Yes, Slick, it doesn't, to me, it was conceding defeat to Eric Spoelstra's mind. In that moment, head coach Malone was conceding the fact that if I take a timeout, Eric Spoelstra is better at what he does than I am at what I do. That was why, to me, it was so defeating in that moment, because you're essentially saying, if I take a timeout, he will out-scheme me. I was flabbergasted as a former athlete. What do you make?
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to say he thought that he was going to get out-schemed as much as he didn't want to bring Spo into the equation. Because he does call a timeout. Now Spo gets to change things up. Maybe he takes Kyle Lowry off the floor defensively, right? Maybe they decide not to have Gabe Vincent on Nikola Jokic. If it was a shorter period of time that they were working with, I see where you call a timeout, because we got to get something kind of quick, right? With 12 seconds left, being able to come up the floor, you're going to go to your two-man game anyway. You're going to, and I think it is confidence in Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. You guys have enough time to go find what you want. I'm going to trust that you're going to find it, because I'm going to ask you to kind of react to what the defense is doing anyway, right? So 10 out of 10 times, I would do exactly what Mike Malone did. Now, this is the most interesting part for me, is that Gabe Vincent was on Nikola Jokic and Jimmy Butler was on Jamal Murray. And if you're asking me, I need to get a 3, who would I rather have shooting it? I would rather have Jokic shooting it over Gabe Vincent than Jamal Murray trying to shoot it over Jimmy Butler. And the fact that they didn't go to that, well, that goes to a bigger issue I have about who the greatest player on the planet is. But
subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.